Welcome back to The Young Voter. Today we're going to cover two articles of news. The first follows on the heels of yesterday's discussion on the Chamber of Commerce and their lobbying buys, their ad buys. Today we're discussing the teachers' unions. Two large teachers' unions, the NEA and the American Federation of Teachers, have announced large ad buys in the millions of dollars. The NEA announced a $15 million ad buy, part of a $40 million campaign through this cycle, and the American Federation of Teachers reported that it had spent $5.5 million before August 31st on this election cycle. Now, where's this money going to? This money is going to primarily Democratic candidates. Okay, then why? Well, let's give a caveat first. There is a caveat here. The NEA isn't supporting just Democrats. They're supporting a few Republicans here and there. Lisa Murkowski is a notable example. She's currently staging a write-in bid in Alaska. She was defeated by Tea Party-backed Joe Miller in the GOP primary. Now she's mounting a write-in campaign. And the NEA is also supporting Joseph Cao, who is a representative in Louisiana seeking re-election. The American Federation of Teachers, on the other hand, is supporting almost exclusively Democrats. They've only spent $8,000 for Republicans in ads promoting the Republican candidate. So, why are they supporting Democrats? That's an interesting question. Because, in fact, most teachers have been hesitant to support President Obama's education policies and his priorities. One of the ideas that has been floated around this year is merit-based pay. Now that would mean that teachers are rewarded based on the test scores of their students, also based on how much a student improves their test scores from year to year. This has raised many concerns among teachers, including, well, if a student is already brilliant in test scores, then if he doesn't improve, how will that affect teacher pay? Does that really weigh on the teacher? Can a teacher's value really be measured through a test, which is what a lot of teachers have complained about in the past, specifically with No Child Left Behind under George W. Bush. The teachers started really spending for Democratic candidates, the unions did, following No Child Left Behind. Most teachers' unions vehemently oppose No Child Left Behind because, again, it introduces vast quantities of tests, which makes the teachers really feel as if they're teaching to a test. So, again, now perhaps even more tests. So the teachers are not very happy about this. So perhaps this ad buy for the Democrats is a way to lobby the Democrats, is a way to get a seat at the table when No Child Left Behind gets revised this year, this upcoming year. It's scheduled to be revised. There's supposed to be a revision. So they want to place at the table and they want to make some changes. Now, do you support No Child Left Behind? I'm not sure. If those watching do support it, you should look into it and see exactly what it stipulates, see what the teachers perhaps are thinking, and see. Are the teachers, what are they proposing? How is that going to influence education here in the United States? If we agree with what the teachers are saying, or if we don't, be aware that they will be a part of this discussion, just as the Chamber of Commerce is a part of the discussion when it comes to big business, and also when it comes to electing certain types of candidates to the U.S. Congress. The same goes for teachers when it goes to education. So be aware that they're a lobbying group and they're out there to push their cause. So make sure, if education is a very important part of how you vote, then make sure to see how the teachers' unions take a stand in your particular congressional race. Our second item of news today deals with a recent ad buy announced by Paladino, who is the GOP contestant in the New York governor's race. He bought a 3-minute ad in the Buffalo area to sort of rehash his message. I'm not sure if you know, but recently Mr. Paladino has come under fire, not just from Democrats or left-leaning political commentators, but also from several Republicans, including, notably, Bill O'Reilly on his show last week had Mr. Paladino and sort of criticized him. Why are they criticizing him? Well, Mr. Paladino has been, to put it mildly, very rash in his approach to politics. He's been very forceful, perhaps even aggressive in his race. He's really likened his campaign to a bunch of junkyard dogs that want to take a baseball bat to the New York State Assembly, to Albany, and clear it out. That's what he has said. He has said that he wants to take a baseball bat there. He also thinks the Speaker of the New York State Assembly is the Antichrist. He said that. He also thinks that the state is full of crooks. And one of his quotes stated that he thinks that welfare recipients should be housed in prisons so that they can learn hygiene. Now, I'm not sure if you particularly agree with that. I'm not sure if I don't really think I particularly agree with that. But again, maybe this is just rhetoric to energize his base. Could be, right? In the ad, he dispels, for the first half, what has been really making headlines recently, last week especially, which was that a reporter from the New York Post tried to photograph his 10-year-old daughter, Carl Paladino's 10-year-old daughter, who was conceived out of wedlock in an extramarital affair. And Mr. Paladino later saw the reporter on the trail and confronted him, and got physical, almost. He threatened the reporter. He said he was going to have someone go get him. So it made national headlines. It was a big issue, and Mr. Paladino defends himself in the first minute and a half of his ad, saying, I'm trying to protect my daughter, who is now at risk of, rape and child molestation, which I think perhaps is a little bit pushing it. That a reporter would go take pictures and put her at rape, increased rape, and child molestation rape. That's debatable, but that's beside the point. The point is he defends himself in the first half of the ad, and the remaining half, he basically says that the New York State Assembly is full of crooks, and that he wants to clear it out. He wants to cut taxes. He wants to cut spending. He basically wants to cut everything. So that's interesting. Perhaps he's starting to put out a platform. Perhaps he's trying to show what he stands for, because it hasn't really been clear, because the news has really been dominated with headlines of his eccentricities, shall we say. So why is this important? Well, it shows a turn. It shows that he's trying to focus on the issues, which is good for the people. People will be able to differentiate between him and the Democrat, Andrew Cuomo. So hopefully their positions will become clearer, and we'll be able to make a decision. Now, perhaps he's trying to hide his character. That's another aspect of this. Perhaps he's trying to brush aside his brusque nature and trying to focus on the issues. It's understandable. But again, one needs to take into consideration his character also when deciding who to vote for. So again, it's interesting. He's trying to, I guess, clean the slate, start from a clean slate. And, I don't think he should be written off as a candidate because of what he has stated in the past, at least not wholly for the brash things that he has said. I think one needs to try to see if he has some good ideas, and then perhaps see if you were going to vote for him based on his ideas, or if you're going to vote against him based on his ideas. And also character can factor in that, but I don't think one should completely write him off at the moment. Get all the facts, but I thought it was interesting. In this ad, he tries to turn the page, which shows, a strength of character. he wants to go forward. He wants to move forward, and he wants to address the issues, which is important. And hopefully, in an upcoming debate that is supposed to happen next week, between not just Andrew Cuomo and Carl Paladino, but also some third-party candidates, we'll be able to hear more. So for those of you in New York, don't make any decisions yet. I would say check out the information on their websites. Perhaps you've made a decision, but based on the issues at hand. A lot of crazy things are said in politics, and I think this ad, while perhaps not very informative on his policies, I mean, he basically just says he wants to cut spending and cut taxes, is important for Carl Paladino because he tries to turn a page, and he shows maturity in that sense. So, again, think about it. Think before you vote, and don't necessarily be influenced by what a candidate says in the heat of the moment. All right. Thank you very much. Have a great rest of your day, and we'll see you next time on The Young Voter.